Hey Frontline fans, welcome back to Comic Frontline and fans. You're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do episode number 4 of Pay It or Slay It. That's right, guys. This is the video review series where I take 10 random comics that I read for the week and I give you my thoughts on them. And you never know which comic could get slayed. That's right, guys. Now, again, when I pick these comics, I shuffle them up and I have no idea what comic I'm going to be talking about first. So it's just kind of that mystery there. So with that being said, guys, let's get started with this week's episode. A lot of DC, just to let you guys know, very little Marvel. The first book I'm going to talk about this week is, all right, A-Force. Issue number 9, Civil War II tie-in. Really nice cover here as it kind of pays an homage to like the Tales from the Crypt books, how it has like your characters on the side and it shows this horrific monster. I thought it was really cool cover. And Frontline's very own Cat Comic Uno suggested that A-Force issue number 8 was really well done. It didn't feel like it was a forced tie-in. It felt like there was a nice story involved there between the A-Force team, and you feel the stress between the characters. And that's what issue number 8 had to offer. So with issue number 9, I thought, well, why not give it a try? And I also picked up number 8 with it. And I agree with Kat here. This was one of the best A-Force issues and one of the best Marvel comics I've read in a long time. This book was awesome. The characters are so emotional. You can feel the stress among the A-Force team in the issue, and the character interactions were just absolutely great. And in amongst this Civil War stress that they're going through between Dazzler and between Nico and Captain Marvel, they have to deal with like these praying mantis creatures. There's this apocalyptic thing that's going on where these people are getting, changed into like these praying mantises, and they're killing people and they're affecting other people. And our heroes have to save the day. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous in the book, much improved from the second story arc. Every character looks great. They're full of emotion, full of expression, and that's what A-Force was originally. And it was a wonderful read. If you guys have not read A-Force, or at least this most recent story arc, I definitely say go out and pick it up. Elsa Bloodstone is in this particular issue, and she's just hilarious in the book, but a really wonderful read. If you guys haven't checked it out, check out issues number 8 and 9. This is the few tie-ins that have really worked with Civil War. It's not just, oh, Ulysses did this and he saved the Hulk and all that. No, this affects the team emotionally, and it's putting a toll on it. And it's really affecting Medusa, Dazzler, Captain Marvel. It's just really affecting everybody. So go out, pick this one up, guys. I say definitely pay for it. All right. Next book we're going to talk about is, what is it? All right, Detective Comics. Another really good issue. This has definite implications on the DC universe. We wind up saying the conclusion to this particular story arc. We see that Tim Drake puts himself in the line of fire as these drones were going to attack the city. He pretty much puts all these targets on him, and it has all the targets basically kicking his ass. And we can see that you think that, yes, Tim Drake is going to die. He's going to die honorably. And you think that at first, and we get to see all the other characters basically react with tons of emotion, and they can't believe that Tim is dead. And it was interesting to see, how Spoiler react on it, and how Batman react on the whole situation, on how he was on the out, how he was, going to school and everything. But just when you're emotionally vested thinking, oh my God, Tim Drake is dead, what's going to happen with him, right away you get to see the little twist at the end, and you find out that that he's not alive, that he appears elsewhere with the man with the redded hood that you saw in Action Comics. So, and he's been saying that you need to be left out of the playing field. You're basically too smart. So I thought this was a really good read. It was a great conclusion to the story. My only thing is, and I think this is a personal preference thing for a lot of people, is that I kind of would have loved to seen Tim Drake not be revealed that he was alive. Now we all know in comics our characters do come back, but I think maybe, how these stories come out every twice a month, that if we waited a couple issues or 3 or 4 issues and then all of a sudden it flashes to the ending that we got in this particular issue, and then reveal that Tim is alive, would be great. Because now when you see other books that mourn the character, it's kind of like, well, you dumbasses, he's alive, and it's kind of like, that, and it doesn't seem like it has that emotional impact that issue would if some character actually died. Kind of like how the Hulk died in Civil War. That had a really emotional impact on a lot of characters. And right now he's still dead, and you got to see the funeral and you got to see all those things. And for me, it just doesn't have that impact that maybe it should. But nevertheless, it was a really good issue. I really enjoyed it, and it'll be interesting to see where our Red Hooded character actually, other characters he has on the playing field here. We know he has Doomsday. Now he has Tim Drake. We're going to see where it goes. So I love this issue. Really good. I'm giving it like 4.25 out of 5 stars. I say definitely keep on paying for Detective Comics. The only thing that has me worried is the next story has like a bunch of, it looks like it ties into the different Bat books, which I think, man, do we need that already too soon? All these little crossover stories, but nevertheless, I say still pick up Detective. Okay, the next book we're going to be talking about is All-Star Batman, issue number 2. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of the story to begin with. In the last issue, the first issue, I didn't like the pacing of the book, the way how it focused in the now, and then it went like 2 days ago, and then it went to 6 hours ago, and then 3 hours before that. And I felt it took the pacing out of the book. But I said, all right, let me give the second issue a try. Let me see where this one actually goes. So for $4.99, I picked it up once again, and yes, you pay for that, that cardboard or fancy looking cover here, that nice glossy cover. It's got like Harvey Dent on there, Two-Face, and John Romita continues doing the artwork in here. Not a fan of it. I'm really not. Commissioner Gordon has this heavy beard, kind of looks like Chuck Norris. I'm not gonna lie, he does. I was ready for some like karate action going on in this book, and basically what happens is this book is just throwing villains in there left and right, I feel, just to throw them in there. It's not to add to really any of the story. Now, I get why they're in there. They're basically trying to get, the bounty for Batman in here. So every villain and their mother is coming out. So you see Killer Croc come out. You wind up seeing King Shark come out, and you just see everybody, and it's just to have them in there, And there's this really action-packed type of issue where you see Batman battling Harvey and all the other characters in the book, and just overall for the price of the book, I just didn't enjoy it. I mean, again, left and right villains just out of the woodwork, not making an emotional impact just for action-packed purposes. And we wind up seeing the Penguin in here as well and whatnot. And, again, it was okay, but nothing that sat there and said, wow, this is just a really great book. This is the best out of the Batman books. This should be the book that I paid top dollar for. And it really is not. It's not the book that I was expecting. Detective Comics is a much better book in my opinion, and I don't enjoy this book whatsoever. So I'm just not going to be continuing it. It has a little backup story with Duke in here, but for $5, I just can't justify picking it up. I might read it digitally, or whatnot, but this is something that I'm definitely not going to slay it, but I'm definitely going to say If you don't have the extra money to pick this up, definitely I'm going to drop it. So that's where it stands for me. So All-Star Batman, just not my cup of tea, guys. I'm not a huge fan of John Romita Jr.'s artwork. I can tolerate it when he wrote or when he did Kick-Ass, just because that's all I've known the character, how he's drawn. But when it comes to Batman and whatnot, it just doesn't work. You know, it just doesn't work for me. So I'm not going to be purchasing that book anymore. All right, next. What else are we going to talk about? Next is Doom Patrol. That's right, guys. Doom Patrol issue number 1. So, yeah, this book is just too weird for me. I don't even know what the hell was going on. We see this girl who's a paramedic. I don't know anything about Doom Patrol in the past. She's talking about eating this burrito and that this gyro has its own world. And then you go into the gyro. They throw the gyro into the garbage can. And like things explode. And then there's this other world. And then this robot guy comes out. The can explodes where the gyro was. And then you got some people that are in some board meeting. And they talk about meat. They change into like these weird people. And I'm just like, what the hell? And then they're dropping F-bombs left and right. I'm like, what the hell am I reading? And then the next thing you wind up seeing is that this Telegram person comes in and blows up this other person. I was just like, what the hell is this? And then I was like, then they got this peel and stick sticker in there. So I'm like, so for you guys, I'm going to see what it is. So you peel it off. Right? You peel off the gyro. It's like color form. You can stick it back on again. You guys remember that? So you stick that out, and then it's like the gyro has its own galaxy. I was just like, man, what am I reading? I say slay it, guys. Slay this book. I'm not going to read it anymore. It's crap. It's weird. It's stupid. Even for my spider side. That was weird. Oh, hey, look, my burrito's still stuck on. See? Look at that. It's like a sticker. Look. Here. Burrito or gyro. That's it. Call me Mike the Gyro Slayer. Yep. There we go. I got the gyro on my hat. Ready to go. Definitely slaying that book. I don't even know what the hell that was. Crazy. All right. So. Okay. Sorry, my internet stopped. I'm not sure if it caught it, but okay. Here we go. Because that would suck. It would ruin the video. All right. Next book we're going to talk about is Superwoman, issue number 2. Yeah, I was really interested in this book. Part of the reason why is that, we wind up seeing Superwoman Lois. She gets her powers. She's going out on the town. She talks with Lana, and then Lana gets powers. And there was just so much in that issue. It was like this action-packed first issue. And I was like, man, oh man, there's a lot going on. But I'm going to check out issue number 2. Well, the problem with issue 2 is that it doesn't seem to know what direction it wants to go on. It basically just sits there and
Lana meets up with John Steele, and they have this relationship with each other, and then her nose is starting to bleed, and then she winds up getting interrogated by Maggie, I think Sawyer was her name, about what happened to Lois, and then she starts going into all kinds of different types of details, and goes on and on and on, and rambling, you're spiraling all over the place, she keeps bleeding from her nose, she's bleeding all over the place, and John's sitting there going, let me check you out, there's no way you can do battle if you're damaged, and she's like, no, I can't do this, and blah, 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 and then you wind up getting some weird guy with his green eyes, and he's doing this freaking battle, and then it's just like, I didn't know what's going on, I just was like completely lost with this whole book, there's so many plot lines, there's like 4 or 5 different plot lines, I didn't know what was happening, and then in the end, you wind up seeing, Lex Luthor's sister, and it's just like, what's going on? Slay it, piece of shit too. This was garbage.
Wow, that's definitely a first. 2 books in a row that I have slayed. So, Doom Patrol, I'm no longer reading. Superwoman, I'm definitely no longer reading. That thing is all over the place. So, what's next on this list this week? All right, next we have Red Hood and the Outlaws. This was a nice book this week. I don't think it was quite as strong as the first two issues, but now you wind up seeing the team getting formed as we wind up seeing oh, I forgot her name. Her actual name is the Amazon that carries the big axe, and I cannot pronounce her name correctly. But we see Red Hood go into action and battle against her, and he's actually throwing his punches in the whole book. And eventually, you wind up seeing them team up. Black Hood is after this cargo that's in this car. You think it's this weapon, but it becomes something else, which is actually Bizarro at the end of it. Really great. I think the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. We get to see how intimidating she is towards Jason, which I thought was really awesome. I don't think really the story was all that in deep, but it was definitely one of those action-packed issues that's just a visually good-looking book. And and I was interested to see the end of it, how they're going to uncover Bizarro in there. So it was good. I say, in the end, guys, if you're looking for a book that you don't want to look too in deep into, I think this is going to be probably one of those fun reads and action-packed reads. So I say, definitely, guys, pay for this one. Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue number 2. Good read, good pickup. All right. Next book we're going to talk about is Wonder Woman. This is issue number 6. This has to do with the whole year 1 of Wonder Woman. This is part 3 of that story. And in this issue, we wind up seeing Steve and Wonder Woman leave Themyscira, and they actually land on Earth in this book. And it was cool because you wind up getting to see the invisible jet land, and there's like people taking pictures of them and stuff, and they're just like, oh my god, what's going on here? And we wind up seeing the government or the police go after them, and Wonder Woman cannot understand English, and her and Steve Trevor have this this translation gap, this communication problem. Same with all the other Earth people on here, and so they wind up taking Wonder Woman into custody in here. And Steve is basically saying, do you trust me? And it was good to see that relationship developing between Diana and Steve Trevor, even though they can't communicate with each other. They have this connection. They have this chemistry. And he's sitting there telling everybody in the military, saying, hey, listen, she's got to be scared. She's a different place. She was brought here to help us, to help me. And it was awesome. And then you wind up getting to see Barbara for the first time in this issue, on how she understands the language, the barrier gap there between the two characters. And basically at the end, Wonder Woman is kind of losing her patience, and she kind of breaks out of the jail cell. And it was kind of cool to see, everyone's looks on there. But this is a nice read. This is really good book, especially this part of the story. If you guys have not been, paying attention to Wonder Woman over the years, I definitely say pick this one up. This really gives you a nice origin story of the character. You can definitely feel the emotion, all her emotions in her facial expressions, which is nice. The chemistry between Steve and Wonder Woman are really nice. And it's great seeing Wonder Woman on Earth for like the first time. It was really a nice book. Really appreciated this one. Definitely, guys, pay for the book. Go out, buy it. All right, next book we're going to talk about today is Teen Titans. When Titans Fall. This is kind of good that I talked about this after Detective Comics. Luckily, it fell that way. This time around, the Titans are kind of remembering Tim Drake's death. Obviously, you have to read Detective Comics first. This book kind of is a remembrance for the character. Now, this is what I was saying earlier. This book, I think, would have a much more emotional impact, at least on me, if I still felt that the character was dead. Knowing that the character is alive, I'm kind of like, yeah, it was nice remembering you, Tim Drake, but you know what? I know you're still alive. Those guys inside the book don't know that, but you're alive. And it just kind of, it takes all that emotion out of that. Even though, I see the emotion in these characters and you kind of feel for them in here that they're missing their leader. It takes away that emotion because right away he's still alive. And again, in all comic book characters, these characters do live or come back or whatever it is, but I didn't wish it was this week. Just give it a couple of weeks, and you can see all these characters going through that emotion. For me, it has more of an impact. So I don't know, but this was a good read. This is something that you can leave or take it. I wouldn't say pay for it. I wouldn't say you have to go out there and buy it. But if you want to see the Titans' reaction to Tim Drake's death, then go out and. But if you could care less, I just say leave it behind. So this was Teen Titans issue 24. All right. Next book we're going to talk about today is Action Comics, issue number 963. This kind of continues that story on who is Clark Kent, where did he come from? He's not Superman, and the whole world is basically asking that question in this issue. And right away, you get to see a story where it takes place a little while ago as he's running through a building and people are chasing him, and Clark Kent is doing the best that he can with human powers of taking out these guards. And then it goes to a past, like in the morning, where Lex Luthor, who is now in charge of the Daily Planet, is talking about Doomsday, is talking about how Clark and Superman are different, how Clark managed to do this press conference. And we wind up getting to see, people saying, come on, man, show me your true colors. You're Superman. And the press conference doesn't go so good. You got one guy shooting at him, saying, oh, deflect these bullets and all this other stuff. And it just wound up going a little insane. They're doing lie detector tests on poor Clark Kent, and everything is coming back as negative, that he's not lying. It's just insane, but then you wind up seeing Jimmy and Clark snooping up. They're trying to go to this genetics place. They're trying to find out that, there's some sketchy things going on. And Clark starts poking around where he shouldn't. And let's just say that there's people investigating and going after him and trying to capture him. So I thought this was a cool issue because, in the end, you wind up seeing Superman saving the day. He winds up saving Clark, which I thought was neat. And in the end, it says, we need to talk. So who is this Clark Kent? Who is he? We still don't know. Where does he come from? Is he some kind of clone of Superman? Is he, where did he come from? I'm very interested to see where this goes. But I love seeing the tenacity of this Clark Kent, on him trying to figure out who he is, where he came from, all this other types of stuff, trying to get all these people their answers. So good book. Definitely, guys, I say go out and pay for Action Comics. Definitely continuing to be a good series. So finally, The Flash. This is issue number 6. This is the best issue of this series so far, at least in my opinion anyway. And here we get to see the revelation of who Godspeed actually is. And this may have been predictable for some. I thought that this character was on the short list of being Godspeed as well. And it was none other than Barry's partner, which was August. And so he's the one who is actually Godspeed in here. But what made this good is what made this issue that good was not necessarily the reveal itself. That was it, but just the emotional toll that this whole case has taken on Barry. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the artwork, but at times the art really shined in this book. But yeah, we get to see that his new girlfriend has disappeared or possibly died. He's not convinced that she's actually dead. And you had August sitting there saying, oh, well, go home, relax, take care of things. And in this issue, we wind up seeing Barry meet up with Iris she has a breakthrough from the case, and we wind up seeing that that she communicates with Barry, and we wind up seeing that Barry finds out who this one person was killed, and we find out that it's all connected to August, and we wind up seeing the revelation of Godspeed, which again I thought was really neat. Even the reveal was looking really cool. Again, really emotional book. Had a nice time reading this one. I was like, man, I feel bad for Barry. He must feel like shit because he thought he was in control of the case. He thought he had it solved, and it just fell apart in front of his hands. And we see that his very own partner winds up being the enemy. But his partner, it doesn't feel like he's the enemy. He feels like he's like doing good. So I thought this was a really well done issue. Again, my favorite one so far of the series. Definitely, I'm going to say pay for this book, guys. This was an awesome read and very interesting to see where this book goes going forward. I know they're going to be doing a battle, but the coolest thing that Godspeed has is he can form multiple versions of himself and fight Barry Allen. So really awesome stuff. Definitely go out, pick that one up, guys. And there you have it. Sorry if there was a couple of glitches in the video today. My camera wasn't working properly, but I'm going to try to edit this the best that I can. So, guys, this has been episode number 4 of Pay It or Slay It. Now it's your turn in the comments below, guys. Keep the discussion going on what books you want to continue to pay for and which books you want to actually slay. And fans, again, this has been episode number 4. And until the next comic book review, this is Mod Spider Slayer signing off. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.